Mitchell Page with us as always each Friday. Dustin Schutte and special guest Rob Cassidy. Rob, how you been, man?
It's same old. It's a grind. I've been all over the country. Finally, hopefully next week, going to get some time to sit around and kind of not travel. But I've been good, man. It sounds like things are going great for you guys this morning.
Yeah, trying to get everything blended in. I hear you. Same thing for us. Normally, during the summer, there's like 2 months where it's awesome because it's nothing. There's always something going on, but it's not like during the season where it's always everything going on. And this summer, that just didn't happen. It just seemed like it never stopped. And while it's not, right now even it's already ramping up. So it never seemed to really stop this year. At least I didn't think so.
No, and I'm worried that's that's the way we're
Yeah.
headed for permanently. There just is no off season of any kind ever, and it's dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, 7 days a week during half the year is hard enough. I don't think I look forward to doing that for the entire year.
No, not whatsoever. Like I said, I've been in Atlanta. I just got home from there, and it's like, oh, I've got to go to Baltimore for this Will Barton thing that's going on this weekend. And one of these days, they're going to stop having events. There will be one weekend where they're like, Rob, you know what? There's nothing for you to cover. I'm looking forward to that.
Let's get caught up. So you obviously been busy summer for Indiana, out on hitting the recruiting trail hard. They had a ton of visits here in a recent group of Jamie Kaiser, who ended up going to Maryland after Maryland got another visit out of him. I figured that was a problem. Arrington Page is yet to make a decision. I think they're in very good shape with him. You've got Deshaun Harris-Smith, who is out there as well. I don't know where they are with him either, but Arrington Page, they seem to be in very, very good shape with.
Yeah, I think that it's probably safe to call them the leader there. And he's the guy that kind of emerged early in the summer at an event in Texas where everybody was kind of waiting for the production to kind of match the potential with him. And it's like a switch flipped for him. And he realized how effective he could be and started to kind of assert himself. There was a time where he would defer. You wouldn't really see him go up strong with the basketball. And then somehow this summer, something clicked for him, and he started to attack the basket. He became a little bit of a better shooter and added some more versatility to his game. And you got to like his trajectory, I think.
Absolutely. And Indiana's recruiting as a whole, the state, with Woody coming in last year, they still weren't solidly in with the Indiana recruits. I think the class of 24 or 5 rather is where they're really going to start making serious inroads to the elite talent of Indiana. They just lost Xavier Booker and Gibbs Longhorn, who decommitted from Purdue, or was it Cohen Carr rather that ended up going to Michigan State. But you've got Trent Sisley and those guys, and Jalen Harrison. I know that it's a couple years away, but man, those guys, they're so impressive for their age. I keep talking about them, but they look like they're going to be sophomores in college.
Yes,
it's
Sisley
just crazy.
Especially. Yeah, and it's come on crowd. I think the point to touch on here is it's come about at such a good time for Indiana because this last class, and this current class to that extent, it's easy. They've showed some progress now, right? And that's what you need to do. You got to get a new coach in. You've got to show positive trajectory, which they did last year, and then you start getting kids to listen. Now, they get their foot in the door with some of these 25s that are good in the state and around the Midwest. And if they take another step forward on the court this year, which I think everybody expects them to because of the returning roster, it could be a situation where they start kind of getting what they want again in the region. Because you know how it is in modern recruiting. It's show me stability and then show me some success. And they've started to do it under the new staff. They're not where they want to be yet, but the trajectory is upward. And I think we're good to see that.
Indiana's also, I would say, far ahead of not everybody, but I would say most programs on the NIL front when it comes to basketball, particularly. Hoosiers for Good is very solidly entrenched and funded. And as a matter of fact, they just announced their recent class that now it has 14 of the 12 of the 13 scholarship players in a program of theirs under their own NIL deal. That doesn't include anything else they're doing. So that is something that is going to help them, I think.
I think so too. And it's been so interesting to watch the schools that have shined on that and the ones that haven't, because it's not necessarily all the ones you would think.
Purdue.
Louisville has struggled mightily, and they've got the money. They can't figure out how to get anything set up as far as NIL goes on.
Except
on
for football,
front.
though. But in football, and I don't understand that because they've sought Mitchell, former football players with us for IU. Their program has just not been anything to speak of the last few years, and they've been killing it in recruiting.
Yeah. Football is such a different beast, in this country, the rich guys, the rich guys with the money, they all love themselves some football, even in a basketball school sometimes. That's why I think it's kind of funny. I don't know if you guys are paying attention at the kind of shots fired between the football and basketball programs in Kentucky. I've been watching that.
Are you kidding me?
Love it.
Oh my God, that's been like watching the Honeymooners or something, man. Enjoying the hell out of it.
It is definitely my favorite side story of the offseason so far, because you never really one of the best rivalries in sports right now is Kentucky versus Kentucky.
Well, to me, that shows you that he's feeling pressure. He's feeling, I don't know, he's jealous. I demand a practice facility. This is a basketball school, but just being an idiot. It is. He's not even worth talking about. He's such an idiot. Won't play Indiana. Refuses to play Indiana because they beat his ass the last time he came to Assembly Hall with the number 1 team in the country. So,
I've touched on a hot button here.
Yeah. And here's the last little bit to it. He brags about his 50 NBA players that he would get to kick in money to build his practice facility. Yet with 50 NBA players, he's managed to win 1 national championship. 50. If you've got 50 NBA players, dude, that's almost, you could fill a team for half the league.
Yeah.
But you can't win an NCAA title. That requires coaching.
It's been interesting to kind of watch the fan base down there, because they seem to be a little bit divided on what they think about him right now and whether the game.
Well, it's because because it makes common sense, and they're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to not ever hate anything coming from Kentucky basketball, but this is a little weird."
Yeah, it has been. It's been a little bit of a struggle for them lately, for sure.
The Hoosiers picked to be the favorite in the Big Ten this year, or a favorite in the Big Ten this year, I should say. Something that has not been the case for them for 6 years, maybe, at least back until 15, 16, back in those days. But they've got lots of returning talent, veteran talent, Trace Jackson Davis, Trace, and Xavier Johnson. You've got the addition of some great freshmen in Jalen Hood-Schifino, Malik Renault. Then you've got guys that have already been there. So they've got a very healthy mix of veteran talent, new talent. There's a lot of expectations there, Rob.
Yeah, there definitely is. And, it's a testament to Mike Woodson and just how well he did at recruiting his own roster. Like, getting Trace back is, I don't have to tell you guys how massive that is. I am really, and everybody, and I think Schifino is going to be a fine player. I think the gem of this class is going to be Malik Renault, though. I am high on that kid. One of the smartest basketball players from a basketball IQ standpoint I've ever seen. Never makes bad decisions with the basketball. Is starting by the end of his high school career, was really starting to become a threat, shooting the ball from the mid range and deep sometimes. I just think he's one of those kids that I love watching play, and I could see him having a really big impact on this team as a freshman.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, because I do too. And I think the bigger other questions are, what is going to be the growth for Tamar Bates and Jordan Geronimo?
Yeah, I like that. Bates was a guy that I obviously loved and everybody was high on coming out of high school and coming out of IMG Academy. He didn't really meet the expectations that I had for him last year, but there's going to be growing pains, I think. The kid's still got the length. He's still got the athleticism. Attacks the rim. I think that, he's a kid that will show growth. He's a coachable kid. I think that's maybe the most important thing when you're this early in your college career. So I can see him playing big minutes too. It's the talent is there. You can look at that roster and you understand why they're one of the favorites to win the league with everything coming back. And you mentioned the freshmen. I wonder what's the bare minimum that the Indiana fan base will be excited by this year. a second weekend appearance? I mean, what's kind of the measuring stick for year two of the Woodson era?
Oh, the expectations, I can tell you from what I've seen, and I'll let the other two guys chime in as well. But fans, general fans,
General fans.
I've seen everything from lots of Final Four talk, but that's not the reality.
You got to get lucky. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, but so much of a Final Four run is just getting things to break your way. I mean, of course, you make your own breaks, but you still got to catch luck.
The luck of the draw is always in the NCAA tournament. But I think if they make it they've got to make it to the second weekend. You've got to improve. You've just got to improve. You've got to show you're better, especially with a team that's better. Otherwise, what have you done? I mean, what's the point? What are you doing? You can't tread water. So, and with Trayce Jackson-Davis coming back, All-American, yeah, he's got a lot on his shoulders.
It's been fun to watch Woodson in year two, because the big question mark was, is he going to want to recruit? And that question seems to be answered. I think everybody was worried about that. He kind of put that to bed pretty quickly.
He's got a great staff too. I mean, Kenya Hunter, Yasir Rosemont, and Brian Walsh, a young guy. But he's done a kick-ass job. He has been the point guy on Sicily, and is in great shape with them. He works very, very hard. The staff works hard. They are personable. They get along with people. That's a huge difference in what was here before. Personable with the players, caring. I mean, Mitchell, as a player, when a coach is talking to you or recruiting you, you want to feel like they give a crap, that they want you to be a part of something. And there was nothing to be a part of in the last regime.
No, and it's also a lot easier for the staff, especially under Woodson, to point at, I've been in the NBA forever. I've been where you're trying to go. I think that's become a more important thing to kids over the last 10 years, maybe. I think when originally it was how much success is the school having, it's now become, what does this coach know about the NBA? Can he get guys to the NBA? Does he know what it takes to play in the NBA? And, Woodson and his staff check all those boxes.
Yeah.
Mitchell, what's it like for you?
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. I mean, the one and done kind of does that, where this college basketball just becomes a stepping stone. But it just –
Did I lose you guys?
No, you're here.
No, I can still hear you.
Okay. All right. So I didn't hear you.
Yeah. You're good. You're good. I do want to touch on one thing. When you talk expectations for Indiana, we already said Final Four is it's a crapshoot, right? You got to get the ball to go your way. Virginia got to the national title game.
You get hot. Teams get hot.
I mean, they just made a couple last-second shots, and you roll. But I think a realistic expectation for Indiana that at least I hope to see, they were good on defense last year. They were so good, but just some increased offensive efficiency where everything doesn't have to go to Trayce. He dribbles, and then just out-athleticisms everyone. I know that's not very good English, but
but you're hitting nail on the point, brother.
Yeah, I would like to see more inside out, somebody that can step outside and knock down shots consistently. You would get guys who are streaky, but you watch these other teams that are so up-tempo and are consistently in the top 5, top 10 in the country. They're so efficient on offense. They can score in so many ways. They get out in transition, and they make easy buckets. Indiana, it always felt so hard, even in games early in the season that they won by 30. It still felt so hard for them to score. If Trayce got in foul trouble, it felt like it was a wasteland. And
you saw what happened when the second unit would come in.
Exactly.
In a way, but it was also because they came in an entire wave, and that was not feasible last year.
No, and they weren't deep enough, or whatever we want to talk about, but just some increased offensive efficiency. And there's no real measurement for this, but personally, when I sit down and watch a game, I want to feel like if we don't score in transition and we get into half-court offense, something good can still happen that doesn't revolve around Trayce Jackson-Davis shooting it, hopefully making it, but then just pogo sticking, getting rebounds, and finishing. Having somebody that can create their own shot, hopefully it's Tamar Bates, really coming to life, that would be such a big improvement for Indiana. And I think if they can find that, then yeah, some of those Final Four talks get a lot more realistic because obviously you have to be really good to get there. But that's hopefully what the fan base will start to see as the big measuring stick in year whatever it is, 3 or 2 of Woodson.
Rob, we've got 60 seconds. 2 quick questions. What do you think expectations for Indiana? And I thought that daggone it, Liam McNeely, no chance for Indiana until he decided to go to Montverde. Now, Mike, that changes the deal. Those 2 things quickly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it definitely helps Indiana, him being down there, because they do have that pipeline in place. And, there are people that can point to, look at what we've done, especially if things go well for Shafino and Renew this year. They can point to, look at what we've done with kids from Montverde. And I forgot what the other question was. What was the other one?
Expectations.
Your expectations for Indiana.
Oh, I think the second weekend is definitely an expectation, but I think you look more at Big Ten play, I think, where you're going to want to finish in that top 3 and be in the hunt to win a regular season league title. It's so hard for me to kind of hold schools, set expectations based on tournament success because, like you said, it's so much the luck of the draw. They could go finish second in the Big Ten, be 1 game away from winning it, and then have a fluke loss on a buzzer beater in the second round. And does that mean the season's a failure? I don't think so. I think if they're in the hunt to win a Big Ten regular season title on the last week of the season or so, I think that would be a success, even if they don't pull it off.